All right, welcome to Behind the Business. Today I sat down with Jessie Gutierrez. She is the host of Omaha Mom Talks here on Heard@1, and we chat about what it's like to be a mom in business. We talk Bravo, all the fun things. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Behind the Business. I'm Jill Dudzinski, your host, and today we have Jessie Gutierrez. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
From Omaha Mom Talks. So she has a podcast on the Heard@1 network as well. So we met and we just want to do a collab podcast today.
Yeah, a little crossover. I'm excited too. We've never done this before, so
yeah,
super fun.
So my goals for today, I want to hear about your background. Obviously, I know you focus a lot on moms, and I am sometimes an overwhelmed mom.
Yeah.
So I have like so many questions, and then also I'm so curious how you handle a small business, a practice, and a podcast.
Yeah.
All of it.
Same.
Because you record every week?
Yes.
What day do you drop?
Wednesdays. So we are just restarting with season 2. So we just finished season 1, just finished season 1 of Omaha Mom Talks. Mm-hmm. And so I've been taking a little break, and then this is my first day back for season 2.
Yeah, baby.
So yeah, it's back at it with Grace, who keeps me.
Yeah, Grace
online.
is our
We
producer.
both have the same show. Yes. We love you, Grace.
Fun. So what was your highlight of season 1?
Highlight for sure was having my sister. So my sister, Rana, she's my big sis. She was on an episode with me, and I feel like she's one of my mentors. And she's just like one of my cheerleaders. And so having her on an episode with me was super fun. And I feel like I was like a little bit more myself in that chat. So
yeah, I feel like when you podcast with people, it's like, can be weird for a second, but then once you get talking and going, it's like,
yes, yeah.
And you're like, wait, do we need to explain anything? Because no one knows what we're talking about.
I had another episode with a friend who's also a therapist, and it was so funny because all of my friends that listened to that episode, they like clocked it right away, and they were like, you were your total self in that one, and not your therapist self. Yes. And I was like, yes, you were 100%. Because when I'm interviewing folks, I feel like I also have a responsibility to like make sure that they feel comfortable and so that they can share their story. Yeah. And so it's just, but it's been a ton of fun.
Yeah. So how long was your season 1?
We did 13 episodes.
13, okay.
Yes.
And how do you schedule that into your practice? So you have your own practice since 2018?
Yes. So I'm a mental health therapist, and I own Jessie Gutierrez Clinical Therapy Services. And I started my private practice when I had a newborn baby. So that
perfect timing.
Yes, I was 6 months postpartum, and I really struggled with postpartum anxiety, and going back to work was really like intensified that anxiety for me. At the time I was working at a school, which I loved that job, but I wasn't using my clinical skills. It was more social work.
Okay.
And so I liked it, but it wasn't like I wasn't using all of my skills that I prefer to use. And so going back to work was really hard. And then my sister, Rana, who also owns her own private practice, she kind of led the way. She was like, why don't you start your own private practice? And I was like, oh my God, I'm like in the trenches of anxiety, motherhood. I still had brain fog. And that seems so, and she was like, what? Like, it's hard, she was like, just do it. And I literally remember, because I was trying to figure out if I wanted to work part-time, if I wanted to work full-time. I knew I didn't want to stay home full-time because I love being a therapist. I love being a clinical social worker, but I needed to figure out a better balance. And so I literally like called her. It was pouring rain, and I was just like sitting in my car bawling. And she's like, what? Like it's hard. Just start your private practice, just one step in front of the other. And she still teases me because so I did. I just did one step at a time. And the first step is I had to like file my business. And I literally used the same name for her business. Like, her business is Rana Zegers Clinical Therapy Services. And I was like filling out the form, and I was like, I'm going to be Jessie Gutierrez Clinical Therapy Services. And she was like, you couldn't have came up with a different name. I'm like, no, did you not remember? I had the brain fog.
Yeah, exactly.
I was postpartum. And so, but yeah, having that little baby who's now 7, she really was my inspiration for just wanting to own my own time, be able to do work that I love, supporting people that I like. Yeah. And absolutely. So it's definitely been a challenge. I now have 2 girls. They're 7 and 4. And because I'm my own boss, like each kind of season of life, I adapt my work schedule to meet the needs of our little family. And I try and stay really focused on they are my priority. And it's definitely hard. It's not easy, but it's been worth it.
So how many days are you practicing?
So right now, 5 days a week. So it's funny because when I started, I was 3 days in clinic seeing patients, and then I would stay 4 days a week at home, including the weekends. And that was a really good balance, especially when she was little, when I had that baby. And then I've really just tailored it. So like right now I'm 5 days a week, and it's kind of like begrudgingly, like I don't want to be working 5 days a week. And my husband, he is the love of my life and a financial advisor. And so he is all about the numbers, and he's like, work more.
No.
And I'm like, it comes at a cost to my mental health and my energy level and my patience. And so it's funny because he has never in the history of us being parents signed up our kids for like daycare or camps or things like that. And he took that all on and signed them all up for 5 days of like full time. And I was like, why do we need 5? Why do we need 5 days? Like who's working 5 days a week? Oh, me?
I gotta work. That's my work schedule.
Yeah. So, but every summer I try to go down to 3 days a week again. Okay. So that's kind of my goal this summer.
I'm not up, you think?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying.
So how did you come, I'm assuming it's naturally, but how did you come into helping moms the most as your patients?
Yeah. So I actually started as a baby therapist working with children and adolescents.
Okay.
So I worked in foster care before I had my master's degree. I worked as a foster care specialist. I love doing like child welfare, working with adolescents.
That's so hard.
And then I worked at Boys Town for several years at their psychiatric residential treatment facilities. So that's like the highest level of care. All of those kids are have major mental health disorders or behaviors that they're not safe to live at home or in a foster home or in a group home. And so I had developed this like niche for the pediatrics, so like 10 and younger. And I loved working with that population. And then when you become a mom and you're reading about the most horrific traumas that have ever happened to children, it changes your brain chemistry. And so I could no longer like read those case files and not put my little babies' heads or faces in those pictures. And so for me, I couldn't do it anymore. And so I had been working at a school, still working with children and families, but that program had a grant with the Buffett Early Childhood Institute where we were working with pregnant moms and helping them with education and attachment and bonding skills to help prepare those little babies to be ready for kindergarten. And so I learned a lot about like postpartum and maternal mental health and infant mental health through that role. And then I became a mom, and it really just...
That's when you really learn.
Yeah.
As well.
For sure. Yeah. Which I joke all the time, like back when I was a foster care specialist and even a therapist with kids and adolescents, like I was giving parenting advice. And like now I just cringe thinking like, how are these parents taking me seriously as this like young person with no real life experience? I mean, obviously we all do our best. We have to start somewhere, but like, I think of like, I used to sometimes have to take kids on visits for foster care visits and buckling them into the car seat. I had no idea what I was doing.
Oh yeah.
And now I am like such a maniac about the safety of car seats.
I am such a psycho about car seats.
Yeah. I'm like, no one, I'm not letting my kids go anywhere.
That's too loose. That's too tight.
Yeah. So I'm like, how was I just like throwing them in a car seat in my car with no idea what I was doing?
Gosh.
But yeah.
I know. I think pre-kids is like you just, I would never let my kid do that. Or you just like judge how other people parent, and then you get kids and you're like, oh my gosh. It's like, it's so different than when you think. It's so overwhelming.
Yes. I will say, so I credit a lot to, my sister, I was her nanny while I was in graduate school, and I lived with them. And so they were 2 and 3. Her babies were 2 and 3 when I moved in. And I learned so much.
Yeah,
like I learned always have snacks in my bag, like always. I learned that I am someone that I can't be home all day. And so like I was taking those kids to the zoo, to the story times, to all of the activities as their nanny, because I just couldn't sit at home all day,
Yep.
you know, and I'm that same way with my kids on our stay home days. We are having play dates. We're going to the park. We're going somewhere because I can't stay home all day. It truly does impact my mental health.
I'm the exact same
You
way.
are?
I wake up and I'm like, okay, what are we doing today? And I try to plan out the week so I'm not like waking up and trying to come up with a
Yes,
plan,
that's
but
stressful.
Sometimes I'm good at
I
that.
know,
You know,
I
us
know.
ADHD
Yes,
girlies.
we are both ADHD
Sometimes there's a plan,
girlies.
mostly there's not.
No,
but
I get it. And for me, it is like for my mental health. Like it's not just because, I need connection. I need to get out of the house. And I tell a lot of the moms that I work with, like if it's workable for you, try to get out of the house before noon with your littles.
Yes.
That way you go on an outing. It's also stimulating their brains, even if you're just going to Target or wherever. Like they're taking in all that new sensory information, and then hopefully like lunch and nap, and then another activity at home.
For sure. Absolutely. Oh, I was going to say something about, Lifetime. That's what I was going to talk about. I joined Lifetime recently, and that's my
Okay.
I love it.
So are you using the childcare?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that, because I've never done any of that.
So I actually went, I think my oldest Paxton, who's 4.5, he was maybe like 10, 11 months when I tried it the first time.
Okay.
And I would get called out because they have like a 10-minute cry policy, and he would cry the whole time. And then I was like, I hate this. I don't love it.
That's stressful.
Like then when I would go, I would just be like, I don't even want to go. So I stopped going. So I canceled my membership. And then now we have friends that go, and it was like Christmas break, and then there was like a bunch of snow days, and then one snow day I was like, this can't be it again. This can't be it again. So I just literally walked into Lifetime, and I'm like, I need to join the gym. And here are my kids.
Okay, so let's
and they
do
hated
a
it
quick,
for a
I
bit.
need to learn
Yes.
more about your little family. So
Yes.
tell for our listeners that don't know.
Absolutely. So Paxton is 4.5, and then Noelle is 2.
Okay.
Boy and then girl. I feel like as of now, I'm good after I sold Hello Ruby, which was this past December. But before that, I was like completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I feel like not doing work, Hello Ruby stuff as good as I was, not doing mom stuff as good as I could have been. And same with a local collective. So it was just like too much. And then it was like I was just doing what I had to do to get by for, the weekend or the event.
So for those maybe that are new to meeting you, you owned Hello Ruby, which is a fashion boutique truck. So share with us a little bit about like getting started with that, and then when you decided to pivot and to sell.
Yes, absolutely. So I think I did my LLC in 2016 is when it was formed, but I launched April 1st, 2017. So it was an old Freightliner uniform rental truck when we bought it in Lincoln. And then my husband and I renovated it and made it a mobile boutique.
So cool.
Yeah. So I was the first in Omaha, which was fun. Got some press, doing that.
I feel like everybody knows like what Hello Ruby is, and the truck is so cute.
When I started, it was like, you want to sell clothes out of a truck in front of our location?
In a
No
van
thanks.
down by the river.
I know, I'm like, you guys want some clothes? But yeah, so I'm trying to think. Maybe 4 years into having Hello Ruby is when I had my son Paxton.
Okay.
So then it was like I gave up some control. I had to hire some people to work events. And
that's hard for you.
Yeah. But it kind of just like was.
Kind of had to.
Yeah.
You're forced to.
So it was still fine, I feel like, when I just had one kid.
Okay.
Because then he would still nap for 3 hours in the afternoon. But then, after I had my second, it was like, 2 different schedules.
Yeah.
And then it's just like the overwhelm that I'm sure you hear about all the time.
Yeah, and feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm living a parallel life.
Yeah, I know. Everything you say, I'm like, oh yeah, that's me too.
Well, that is why I connect with the moms, because I am a mom and I'm
naturally
going through
way.
it. Yeah.
So actually on my podcast, so formerly Behind the Business, it was Where There's a Wheel, There's a Way.
The cutest.
And I was like, okay, my husband and I had talked about it over and over, and I was like, it's going to be my last season of the truck.
Okay.
And then that got into chatting with people and selling the truck. So it's been so good. Like I see people and they're like, how are you? I'm like, I'm so good. Like, I have a balance.
Yeah. So it's been a good fit for you, and it sounds like a good fit for your fam.
Yes.
Good.
So
good. And so then share with us what work has you doing these days?
Yes. So a few years into, I'm trying to think when. I like don't even know.
Times are hard.
I know. Times are so hard. I'm like pre-kids or post-kids. That's all I can tell you. But my friend Katie, she owns a kid shop called Little Mango.
Yes.
And were you there? Or did I see your story? You were there?
No, but I don't know where, but I wasn't there, and I guarantee it. But no, I just listened to your podcast with her, and I didn't know how that name came about, which is adorable. But,
what? A local
that
collective?
It was, or Shop Little Mango.
Oh,
like,
yes.
Because of her
last name was Manganero.
Yes,
I know. I think that's
adorable.
so cute. Yeah. I know. I love it. But yeah, so we started a local collective. We just started doing pop-up events. Our boutique warehouse sale is good because it's all items under $25. So then people came to the event, and then vendors were like, oh, how do I get in for that? So now we have 160 small businesses in the collective.
Oh, wow.
And we do different events. We do monthly meetups. We do boutique education.
I think
just
that's
kind
so
of
important.
Random fun things.
Yeah. And I know nothing about that world. And so seeing that you're providing that education because I think a lot of young women have a dream of owning a boutique. Like it sounds so fun, and it sounds like, I get to be with, other like-minded folks and look at pretty things all day. But there's a lot of behind the scenes to owning a business.
Yes, definitely. As you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, literally your podcast is called Behind the Business, right?
Exactly.
For a reason. Like there's just, so I love that you are providing that education.
Yeah, it's been good. We had a meetup at Junkstock just to like have fun together and like support the businesses that we knew at Junkstock. That was Friday, and it was super fun.
Oh, fun.
Some of them are more fun happy hours. Some of them are like real education. So
I love that. Well, and so my industry, like in graduate school, we always say like I learned how to be a really good clinician, but I did not learn how to be a business person. And so much of that has been trial and error and learning
your
as I
sister
go.
Guiding you.
Yeah. And even just sometimes the blind leading the blind, if I'm being honest. But yeah,
do you like that back end stuff or
hate it?
See, I kind of like it.
You do?
And I thought I would hate it, but
oh my gosh. No, I'm not a numbers gal.
Yeah.
I'm not. So it does help that I'm married to a financial advisor.
Because he can kind of help keep you accountable too.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like, I just love, like meeting with people and in sessions and connecting
like your
and
job.
Supporting. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other stuff I hate.
Yeah.
But it's a necessary evil.
So do you have an admin day, or are you
I build it into my schedule.
Okay.
Yep. So my practice is insurance based. So I have a individual that she's a billing specialist. So she handles all of my insurance claims, which I couldn't do it without her because I hate insurance.
I was going to say.
And it takes so much patience and like callbacks and denials and all this stuff. So she does all that for me, thankfully. And then she sends out all of my like invoices to folks.
Okay. Is she just like a bookkeeper or like an insurance?
Her title is billing specialist, and she's awesome. Her name's Susan. She owns her own billing revenue cycle.
She does this
so she does clinics.
Okay.
Yes, she does. And she's amazing. So that part is nice. Basically, if there's an insurance denial or issue, like I don't even really know about it until she tells me she's resolved it. So that's very
really
nice.
good.
But but I still have to, there's just a lot of documentation, treatment planning. I still have to send the stuff to Bill that she has to send over, all of that. But I just try to build it into my schedule. Yeah. But that's something that I am notoriously like, if someone was like, hey, do you want to go to this networking event? And I looked at my calendar and it's admin time, I'm like, yeah, I want to go.
Yeah.
I'll do that admin stuff later. And I don't,
Yeah,
and
exactly. So, and then it's like tax time. You're like,
oh my gosh.
My
least favorite time.
11 p.m. every night.
Yes. And my husband is so like serious about that stuff, as one should be. I mean, taxes are important, but it just cracks me up because he'll be like, he'll give me a deadline. Like, this is when it all has to be due to me to review it. And then
you're like, it's like a couple days, please.
Yeah.
A little longer.
I need an extension.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's funny. So he owns his own business too. You mentioned, right?
Yeah. So he is a financial advisor and he owns a business here. And then him and two business partners actually own a book of business in Iowa.
Okay.
So they travel, it's like 4 hours away. So
Oh, wow.
every few weeks he's gone for like 3 or 4 days at a time.
Oh, wow. Kid duty.
So yes, so we do. I always very much appreciate when he comes home because shit always hits the fan when he's gone. And so it's definitely, I appreciate his partnership, and he's a really good dad. And I love being able to have someone to rely on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I was married to anyone else besides my husband, I'd be divorced. My husband is so patient and does half of everything. You know what I mean? It's like, thank God.
Yeah, I have so much
respect
respect
a lot of
for single
people
moms.
are not like that.
Yeah, or in relationships where it's not a good
Right, or
division
they're
of
like
labor.
a single mom anyway because the guy doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I can't relate to that.
I know. I got a good one. He drives me crazy for other reasons, but I love him.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm gonna
3
keep him.
nights every month. Is that what you said he's gone?
So like every
Or
couple
every other
of week, every
Like,
couple
I
weeks.
might like that once a month.
Well, like at first I was like, oh, I can do this on my own. And like, we actually get into a good groove and a good rhythm when you're gone. Then like, and I was kind of at first, because he's been doing that for 4 years, ever since my second baby was born. So we were in a groove. But at the beginning, I was a little bit resentful. Like, I would love to sleep in a bed by myself.
Right.
I would love to eat takeout for a few days on my own. And he was like, because he is such a good person and a good dad, he was like, I miss you guys when I'm gone. Like, I'm not having fun. And it's in a small town, so there's like a bar and like a Subway and like a gas station.
Subway.
So he's like, you think I like eating like these
Subway?
greasy burgers and
You're
Subway?
like, yeah, but you can sleep in.
And I'm like, but you gotta sleep in a bed by yourself. And I've got wake ups in the middle of the night and in the morning and meltdowns. But no, now because I used to give him a hard time about it, but I don't anymore.
Yeah.
And then after like our first couple of like a kid called, I'm in session, school called, I need to pick him up, he's out of town. I like realized like, oh my God, like I really do need your help.
Right.
Like, yes, I can do it on my own. I prefer to do it with a supportive partner.
Exactly. It's just better. It's easier.
So
it's
much
better.
easier. Yes.
Oh my gosh. So what do you think, besides stuff we've already talked about, that the modern mom is struggling with these days? I mean, I can just guess the overwhelm. Phones too, to me, are like, I want to get a flip phone.
Are you thinking about it?
I literally have been thinking about it for a while, and then just have a phone for work and only use it on I don't know how exactly that would work.
Yeah, well, we all are addicted to our phones, myself included.
Yeah.
And so it definitely, our brains aren't meant to be like dialed into this level of stimulation at the frequency and intensity and like turnaround as it is, but it is also like a necessary evil, right? Like, especially if you're posting on social media for your job or things like that. I think that, a lot of the like common issues. So I will say I don't just work with moms, but I do work just with women. So if a dude reaches out to me for therapy, I'm like, what about my website appealed to you? Or like what, and we have a lot of great therapists in our community.
Like red
so
flag.
I don't need to. Yeah. Even honestly, when men add me on social media, I pretty much block them because I like assume there are good men out there, but I don't always give all men the benefit of the doubt.
Or they've probably heard about you from their wife.
Well,
and they're like,
that's true too. Oh gosh. Hopefully the good things, but like, I don't know. I post a little bit of my kids on social media, so I get a little bit nervous. Like, I'm like, what about my content appeals to men? Not really. But so I work with women of all ages on issues with trauma, anxiety, depression, not just moms. But when I was after my postpartum experience, a girlfriend of mine who's also a therapist, we really became interested in perinatal mental health. And so perinatal is pregnancy to 1 year postpartum. But I'll be the first to say, like, you're postpartum forever, right? Like it doesn't
like,
just
you don't have
stop
brain fog anymore. I'm still at.
Yeah, so you're always postpartum. But this perinatal mental health period is from conception until 1 year postpartum. And so we both sought out, she was a mom also and had her own experiences, Rachel Brayback, and we sought out some advanced clinical training in perinatal mental health. We're like, we want to learn more. We want to support more. And so there's this organization called Postpartum Support International, PSI, who does this like accrediting for therapists who want to learn and advance their knowledge in perinatal mental health. And so then we were like, we didn't stop there. We're like, we want to keep learning more. We want to help more moms. And So it kind of became this thing that I became known for, like not necessarily because I was even marketing it or putting it out there. We built some really good relationships with a lot of the birthing hospitals in town and the OBGYNs and the medical social workers. I love our medical social workers. They're the ones who are often helping the doctors get folks set up with referrals for therapists. And so we then have just continued to learn and to support. We've made a lot of great connections and friendships with like doulas in town, lactation consultants, other perinatal mental health, reproductive psychiatrists. And so we really are supporting one another on how can we support women in our community. Because I'm licensed in Nebraska, I can work with any individuals in our state. So I can do telehealth also, but no one out of state as of right now. I'm currently getting credentialed to be licensed in Iowa, since that's just like right next door.
Your husband can drop your cards everywhere.
Yeah. But you know, I see a lot of women in pregnancy and postpartum, and I think a lot of the overwhelm, the most thing that I like love to work on is parenthood has a way of bringing up your unresolved childhood issues and putting a magnifying glass on those unresolved childhood issues. And they're triggered, especially as we reach toddler age and beyond. They can also happen with infancy and pregnancy. But so a lot of the work that I do with women, if they're feeling like they want to and if they're ready, is working on healing some of those old childhood wounds that really deserve their attention. And the goal of that is to give those attention so they aren't as triggering or as intense or as impactful today. So like, if a woman comes to me and they're like, oh my God, like whining is such a trigger for me. Like I can't handle that trigger. And we'll you know, what's going on for you when that happens? And it's like, I feel this rage mounting inside of me. I want to yell, I want to whatever. And I don't prefer to act that way. Then we'll do some exploration on maybe like where that's rooted from, where that comes from. A lot of times it's like, you know, we find out like, oh, mom didn't have the patience for you.
I'm with you. That's exactly for me. Yeah. It's like the whine, and then it's like, I know I'm not going to freak out, but it's taking everything inside of me not to freak out. Yeah. And then it's like, oh yeah, well, we really didn't have patience. And as a generation, I feel like it was all like that. Like our parents did their best, and we're all doing our best. And it's just...
And I am, I'm always telling people that I believe that most parents do the best that they can with what they have, with the knowledge and the skills that they have. There is a small population of parents that, you know, are just hurting kids and don't care. Yes. But the majority, so whenever I'm doing this work with my patients and we're talking about their childhood and their parents, I always make it very clear, like, we're not blaming your parents. We're not, you know, casting them into some horrible person or, you know, but maybe there were things that were missed, or maybe there were things that they could have done better. Because a lot of people will say like, oh, I had a pretty decent childhood. And then when we start doing some of this inner child work, they might notice that it wasn't that really horrible things happened, like abuse, but it was not enough of the good things were given. Like maybe they were told, and the minute they became emotional, like, go to your room, I don't want to see you cry. And so the message as a child we receive is like, you know, my feelings aren't important. People don't care about me. I can't show emotion. I always have to be good, or I always have to be happy in order to get love. And so it's not like these big, horrible, abusive parents were there, but they didn't give them that like validation or that support or space for their feelings.
I feel like that's so common.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a mom myself, right, like I also am just trying my best, and I get it wrong a lot too. And I fully anticipate that I will probably pay my children's therapy bill someday happily, because I'm not getting it right all the time. And I do know that I am doing better than like how I was raised, right? Yep. And so, and I heard someone say one time that like the way that my parents raised me, like they reached their ceiling, like that was their max as far as their abilities and their knowledge. And then I started there. That was my floor. And so then I'll reach my max and my kids. So like each generation, my hope is that we continue, right, to like elevate our knowledge, expand our capacity to deal with hard things, and can continue to be better parents.
Yeah. I love that. Are you on TikTok?
Yes.
But I feel like TikTok has helped a lot. Like, cause I do follow a lot of therapists on there, and just like coping mechanisms or validating their feelings.
Yes. And I agree. I think TikTok has been social media in general, right? Like it's really provided a lot of validation for folks, a lot of like information that maybe you wouldn't have access to. Sometimes even I get stuck in my limited brain of like, I think everyone knows this stuff because it's just all that I do all the time.
And you talk about it all the time.
Yes. And so I have to remember like, oh, you know, not everyone has been exposed to these ideas or, you know, reflected on how maybe that impacts them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, moms are doing a lot and they're doing it with a little.
Yeah.
And there are high expectations.
What do you struggle with as someone who has a lot of tools and knows a lot of things about, you know, your feelings, being a mom, being a small business owner? What do you specifically, because you're just hearing problems all day. Like that has to be exhausting as well. Like,
yeah. Well, I definitely, so finding this population that I support right now has been ideal for me. Like I said, I know that in my season of life as a mom of littles, like working with kids with trauma, like I couldn't, that would really wreck my mental health and I wouldn't be able to show up like I want to for my own kids. And so working with this population really does re-energize me and refuel me, and I can relate to it, right? And I can connect with moms. They feel like, oh, she gets it, right? She's living this parallel life. And so for me, you know, I definitely have had to, like, I think we hear about work-life balance, and I will talk about work-life balance, but I think for me, I'm more aiming towards boundaries. Like, what are the boundaries that I need to put in place for myself, for my business? I am the queen of like saying yes to too many things.
Is this one of them?
No, this is fun. This is so fun. But like, for example, my kids' school, like they asked me to volunteer for a class that wasn't even my daughter's class.
Oh, like, no.
And I said, let me get back to you.
Yeah.
And my husband was like, you are literally complaining to me that there are not enough hours in the day. And now you're going to sign up to volunteer for a grade that's not even our daughter's. And I'm like, yeah. That doesn't really make sense, does it? But
maybe I'll get to see them and wave to them.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I'm going to get my eyes in that
Yeah.
school. I'm going to see her. But no, so it's hard. You know, it's hard to say no to things. It's I'm always learning as well. But I just am trying. I try to again remind myself like what needs my attention, what deserves more of my attention, but it also changes. Like, it's not just like, especially like when my husband's gone, I know that I maybe need a lighter workload that week,
right?
Because shit could hit the fan. I might get pulled out of school, whatever. And then like the weeks that he's home, you know, maybe I can dive more into work or put my attention into more side projects, knowing like I have that supportive partner there.
Yeah.
So
knowing your schedule.
Yeah.
And are you pretty good at keeping up with your schedule?
Yeah, I'm pretty good with the schedule that I have to, like, if it doesn't exist in my calendar, it doesn't exist.
I'm the same way.
I have horrible object permanency. So it just, my husband would be like, I told you about that. I'm like, babe, if it's not in the calendar, it does not exist. So you're the same way. You have to put everything
I'm the same
in your calendar.
Like, for example, again, on TikTok, they were talking about type C moms.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, God, that's so me.
How can you relate to that? Because I'm new to hearing about that too.
Oh, it's so funny. I wanted beef tallow. I've seen it. A lot of people talk about it. I'm like, okay, beef tallow. Somebody said at Junk Stock they had good beef tallow. So I put on the day I knew I was going to Junk Stock, beef tallow in my calendar.
Okay.
And then Thursday night, I'm looking at my calendar. I'm like, what the hell is beef tallow? Why do I have beef tallow in my calendar? Like, it sounds familiar. I kind of remember, but I don't remember why I had beef tallow. And then 12 hours later, I was like, oh my gosh, duh, I need to get that at Junk Stock. And then I'm texting my friend, like laughing about it. And I'm like, watch, I'll still forget to get beef tallow. I forgot to get beef tallow. I told everyone at Junk Stock, I'm like, remind me to get beef tallow. Remind me to get beef tallow. Didn't get it.
Still forgot.
Still forgot. Like, that is me to a core.
Yes, I know. Well, we were talking earlier about ADHD. And so I guess when did you determine you had ADHD and when did you become medicated?
I'm excited to talk about this actually because through TikTok, this gal came up on my For You page, and she's talking about like the overwhelm, and it might not have come out earlier, but then you have all these signs and symptoms of it, and you just can't even manage your life anymore. I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
Because when I went to my doctors here in Omaha, they were like, oh, if you didn't really have that as a kid, or you didn't have issues as a kid, like everyone told me that. And I'm like, dude, I know I have ADD. Like, follow me along for a day. You will see I have ADHD or ADD, whatever. And then this girl on TikTok, she actually is in Kansas, I think.
Okay.
I just scheduled an appointment with her because I'm like, every word she said
resonated with
me. And she's like, oh, yep, see it all the time. And then she diagnosed me.
Okay.
I also got diagnosed with PMDD.
Same.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And
at first I diagnosed myself, and then I went to the doctor.
Same. Well, I thought, I was like, I think maybe I have this. And she was like, same. Because at first she prescribed like an antidepressant for those weeks that you ovulate or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just got back on birth control because I was on birth control for like 10 years before kids, and then wasn't on it forever. And then like
it helped.
Psychopath, like.
But it helped to get back on it for you?
Yes.
Good. So I can't take birth control because of I have these like hormonal migraines, but that is like the first line kind of a treatment for PMDD is they suggest a lot of
No,
times
it's crazy. Like I would take notes when I like felt like I was actually going crazy.
Yeah.
Then I'm like on Reddit, and it's like got diagnosed with bipolar.
Oh gosh.
And it's like that. Apparently that's like common that you can get diagnosed with bipolar because PMDD is you're so
up and down. Yeah.
But
yeah. So I got diagnosed with ADHD in undergrad and was medicated. And I had learned like, it was more of that, not that I had trouble focusing, it was that I had trouble focusing on everything all at once. And so then I would miss important information. And so like if someone was sneezing over there, I was looking at them. If someone was tapping their pencil, I was looking. If someone
were you like that in grade school too?
I don't remember. I think they just kind of categorized me as naughty in grade school.
Okay.
I was very like, I do what I want.
Okay.
Always.
See, I wasn't like that. I was like studious.
Okay. And I got decent grades, but I mean, I never like struggled in school. So, but in graduate school, so in undergrad, I got diagnosed and medicated, and it helped me. So then by the time I got to graduate school, I thought, well, I just created all these systems that worked for me. So I knew I had to sit in the front of the classroom so nobody was distracting me. I learned that my brain processes information when I write it down. I learned all these systems for my schedule, for my calendar, and I was learning things that I genuinely like was interested in. So grad school was easy for me, and I was not medicated. Then I became a mom. And this is what I see all of the time in my own practice, which is symptoms of ADHD are exacerbated in motherhood because those systems cannot keep up when you have a whole other freaking human relying on you. And so because we internalize things, I was like, I'm a hot mess express. Can't get anything organized. I'm so, I'm a wreck. And so I went and I saw a psychiatrist, and she was so sweet and was like, oh, honey, this is like untreated ADHD. Like you already know you have ADHD. And I'm like, I kind of like didn't think about it.
Yeah.
And so I got back on my meds, and I take Concerta, extended release. It totally helps me. And it's not a cure-all, people. Like I just want you to know I'm still
at first.
But
first few days I was like perfect. Then it like you get used to it.
And I still have like systems that I use. And I always tell people like everybody actually has some systems, not just ADHD folks. Like if you're somebody that gets to work every day on time, like you have some sort of system that you have created that works for you, but everybody needs different systems. They aren't all the same. Like one of my systems is I need a lot of alarms. So like I have time blindness. And so if I am doing a 60-minute therapy session, I have a gentle alarm that goes off when we have 5 minutes left. And that allows my brain to know, okay, we have 5 minutes left. Otherwise, like I could be talking to someone for 2 hours.
You're like,
and have a waiting room full of people. And so we all have systems. But yeah, that motherhood game really just exacerbated.
What's your favorite system at home with kids, young kids?
Oh, that's actually where I still need help. One of the things that my husband and I try to adopt is like everything has a home. But like we really are not good at having our kids clean up because it's easier for us to do it. But they're getting older. They're 7 and 4. Like they can. And so I feel like that's one area that we're trying to get better at is like we clean up before we watch TV or we clean up before we get out another thing. But it is hard. What about you guys?
I feel like for systems, Sundays I clean out the trash out of my car.
Okay, yay.
And then I also have bins in the living room and the front room that throughout the week I throw the toys in so it can still look, my house is a disaster. But when I'm doing this and putting them in the bins, and then like Sunday I'll put those bins away where all those toys belong.
Yes.
That's helped me.
Yeah.
Because I can't when just stuff is everywhere.
I know.
And I'm like, I know that's that goes. You know where everything goes, but it's like I can't even do it.
Yeah, I know. We definitely have like too much stuff, so I know that minimizing and decluttering is what I need to do first. I will say though, like I've had to let a lot of things go, and my house is one of them. I don't hold myself to that like pristine, unrelatable standard because we live there.
Yeah.
And we have tiny mess makers.
And before kids, I would have been like, oh, I cannot stand when people just let their house go. Now it's me. I'm that person.
Yeah. And I'm somebody who like, I love to have my counters cleaned. That makes me feel organized, but I don't mind having dishes in the sink. Now I know other people that drives them crazy and they could never go to bed with dishes. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I've let that go. But the counters, I want to be able to wake up and see the counters
I'm
are
the same way. It's so funny.
calm.
What would be your go-to self-care ritual when you're like overwhelmed or drained or have no energy? What's your favorite thing?
Like a small
thing.
Yeah.
Or it could be big.
Yeah. Well, big, I like to go to the spa.
I was just going to say massage.
But it's not always realistic.
Yeah.
Have you been to that spa in Kansas City?
No, the like cave. No,
It's
my
amazing.
sister Sarah has been there.
It's amazing. That would be like if I really need it. Yeah, it's amazing. Everybody deserves to go on like
Do you go for like a whole day or like 2 days?
a weekend. Yeah, or like one day. I've even
Mother's
gone
Day
with my
is coming
husband before. We went, and that's not his thing, but we went to like a Royals game and then stayed one night at a regular hotel and then one night at the spa.
Oh, fun.
So it was like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But at just regular day life, I really try to, especially since COVID, is like I try to plan friend dates. So connection is something that I can feel isolated a lot as a small business owner and as a therapist, right? Like I might be meeting with other adults all day, but it's very like I'm their provider and they're my patient. And so I can feel very like isolated and lonely. I don't have coworkers.
Right.
And so I am very intentional about connection and scheduling time with friends, breakfast, coffee, whatever it may be.
Good.
That really feels
That's a good
me.
one.
Yeah. What about you? What do you do for self-care?
Self-tan. I don't know. And I
Makes
hardly
my whole
do it
mood.
anymore.
I'm ready to do that because it's that time of year.
Yeah, I know.
I've been like, I need to shave and get
I
ready.
know.
Get
Literally, when I go to
myself exfoliated.
Lifetime, I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep my kids in the daycare 10 minutes longer so I can go
That's
shower
one way
and
that
shave.
you're doing
Yes,
self-care,
that is
right?
true.
Yeah. And I would have never thought, I actually learned that on TikTok where moms, like stay-at-home moms were saying they use their gym daycare.
Yeah.
And I like to take a shower, to do all, and I'm like, that's genius.
Yeah, even to work, like I'm probably half of the time working out. I've been doing pickleball. There's a few classes that I've done. Otherwise, I'm like walking or like doing something small and then working on my computer or sitting in the hot tub. I've done that
Ooh,
once.
I love that.
Yeah, so
I wanted to talk about, I know that you are a Bravo lover.
Yes.
And I literally have like 2 Bravo friends and that's it. Like none of my other friends watch Bravo.
Oh, let's dissect.
So I'm like, I love talking with another
Have you been
Bravo
watching
person.
The Valley?
Yes. And I said I wasn't going to watch the
Me
first
too.
season and I got sucked in. So guess what, baby? I'm on season 2.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
I have thoughts. Season 1 ended like my husband was like, this is so sad. Like, these are like, there's kids in it. Like,
Very.
It's different
He
when
watches
it
it
was
with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
When it was Vanderpump Rules.
I know.
And
they're like 20-somethings
right.
with no kids.
And my husband's like, I kind of like don't want to watch this anymore. It makes me too sad. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch it on my phone before bed without you then. So that's when I then started season 2. And I think there was 3 episodes out, but again, same feeling. It's like
I was
really
just telling my
sad.
girlfriend that. I was like, one, like, Jax, okay, they're like characters to me, so I will just preface that. If I'm sounding insensitive, it's because my brain thinks of them as characters. But because it's a show that I'm watching for entertainment. But like, he's never going to change. That makes me so sad for his wife.
Brittany.
Yes, that makes me so sad for their little baby. And then that other couple that's going through a divorce.
Jesse.
I'm horrible with names. Yes.
And
I'm like, he genuinely hates her.
They hate each
that
other.
makes me so sad.
I know. And
because
like,
their
even
kids are going to watch that.
they're watching and they're recording, and like the daughter's in the other room, and they're like,
Yeah,
and
it
I'm like,
makes me
dude, this
very
is like makes me feel
sad.
sick inside.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
ugh. But I do love.
Okay, and then what Real Housewives shows do you watch?
Beverly Hills,
Yes.
Jersey. When is that coming back on?
Oh, I don't know. They had some sort of scheduling production scandal or something.
Oh, really?
Didn't they? Or I think maybe.
Grace, do we
know?
know about this? And then what else?
Do you watch Atlanta?
Summer House. I don't watch Atlanta.
No one watches Atlanta, and it is my favorite.
Really?
Yes,
I
it's
feel
on
like-
right now.
Is that when Nene was on?
Yes,
Because I did watch a few
Nene
of
and
those.
Portia. So, Atlanta is my favorite because those women, they support each other, but they have the best reads. Like, they read each other. Their digs are so good, but like classy. I don't know. I love Atlanta, and my 2 friends that watch Real Housewives do not watch that.
Oh, okay. I need it. Maybe I'll start.
I need to find a friend.
How many seasons are there?
Several.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that one's several. That's a commitment.
Okay, well.
And then I also watch New York.
Have you watched the new New York?
Yeah.
I kind of started, but
It's not my
because
fave.
it's like I'd rather watch other things.
Yeah, it's not my fave. I have limited TV
Summer
watching
House?
time. Yes. So
Okay.
I'm totally into Summer House. What
And
about you?
Southern Charm.
I never did watch Southern Charm.
Okay,
Or
so-
Below Deck.
Yeah, I need to watch Below Deck.
Yeah, everyone tells me that.
I watch a few, but I need to get into it.
But I watch Summer House. I love Summer House. But also, like,
What about Jessie and Lexi?
oh, they're donezo.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they tried.
I also like that she was like, no, you're making me look stupid, and you're the reason like all these girls aren't my friends. Like
Yes.
it was like a lot, and then him just being like, oh, she's psycho. I'm like, get another story.
That storyline is old.
I know.
She's crazy.
I know. But she used to date Victoria Beckham's son.
Oh, what?
I think.
That
I'm pretty sure.
seems
Isn't that
wild.
crazy?
How old is he's a baby? How old is he?
No, they're like, I don't know which one. I
Oh
can't
my
remember.
gosh, that makes me feel old. That's crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I didn't know that. And then I also didn't plan on watching, but I am watching what is the Lisa Vanderpump's show where they're
Oh, the Villa with Stassi's on it again.
Yes.
I want to watch that, but it's
Yeah.
on Hulu. And
Yeah.
I think I just canceled that Hulu. I need to redo it maybe.
Yeah. I just started watching it simply because Stassi was on it, and she's the same.
Well, okay, so now let's get a therapist take. Did you see the part where they were talking, and I only saw the TikTok, but about his sister?
No, I haven't gotten that far
Okay.
yet, but
So
that kinda
allegedly
weirds me
there's
out.
something weird with,
I saw it on TikTok also.
what's his name?
Bo, who has seemed like
Normal.
a literal gem.
Right, exactly.
Like a literal gem.
Something weird going on with his sister. Like they have
Yeah.
matching tattoos.
They
but
met
he
each
won't
other
get one
later
for
in
stuff.
life. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
they're
know.
like step siblings.
I didn't get it. Oh,
So
okay.
I would
I
love
don't
to
know. Yeah,
love your
I haven't
take on
gotten
that.
far yet.
Once
oh
we
my
get there.
gosh. But yeah, I'm into all the Bravo shows, and my husband laughs because he's like, "Why are you watching this?" I'm like, "It is the best brain break for
Right,
me
'cause
because
you
I'm so tired at the end of the day. I don't
100%.
have to rewind it if I miss something because I'm folding laundry.
Right.
I can just keep watching and it all makes sense.
Right,
So it's
100%.
the best. Yeah.
We need to meet Vicky.
Oh yeah, I did meet her.
You did. Was it
Yeah.
awesome?
Yes, it was awesome. And then her podcast co-host Christian is like amazing.
So sweet.
He was like so cool, and he was just in town, right, Grace? Yeah. So yeah,
You produced that show, Grace? Oh, Jocelyn does. Oh, that's so fun.
yeah. But that whole world is so funny.
Oh my
I love
gosh,
it.
I
And I
love
went
it.
and saw Luann.
Oh, did you
she
see
did
that?
the Cabernet?
Was it
Cabaret.
fun?
Yes. It was amazing.
I kept getting ads on that, but I had something and I was like, I really want to go.
My one Bravo friend, I took her for her birthday. So that was like her birthday present. And we had like amazing seats, and she is a performer and she takes it serious.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
So it was like a hoot, but she also like makes fun of herself.
Okay.
Like she had t-shirts with her like mugshot photo for sale
my
at
gosh.
her merch. Which,
That's
like,
hilarious.
People were walking around with them. Yes.
What was the crowd like? Was it a big crowd? Or?
It was huge.
Okay.
And it was like, it was
where was it at?
It was
Steelhouse?
at the Astro, which
Oh,
that
the
was my
Astro.
first time there.
Yeah,
and
that's pretty
a
cool,
really,
right?
Yeah, it was a really cool venue. And they had, she had like a whole band and everything, and they had a big screen in back with like clips from the show where they were like, what's that one scene where they're like, Bethany Frankel I need to tell you something, and she's like, it's not about Tom. It's not about Tom.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they had those clips.
Oh my
like,
gosh,
so she was like
that's
poking
hilarious.
fun at herself. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Which
That makes me like her more.
I know. I didn't know she had it in her, but she did. So yeah,
That's so fun.
so fun.
Bravo. We really are the same.
I love the Bravo world. It's just, it's fun. It's entertaining. It's what the moms want.
I know. All the moms are like, yes, more Bravo. Less talky. On average, how often are your patients coming to you?
So we start off weekly. So
Okay.
I always recommend starting weekly. That really allows me to get a good idea of like their history, their presenting issues, and what's going on. Some people want to start like every other week or something. And I'm like, that's fine, but we're going to be not making much progress.
right
and
away.
so I really like to start weekly. And then when somebody is making progress or they feel like whatever symptoms that they came for are improving, then we will look at like biweekly and then monthly. And then I have a lot of folks that are just what we call like maintenance sessions. So they've maybe like graduated therapy. They're not in crisis. They don't have acute symptoms, and they just come to me as needed.
Oh,
I will
nice.
say I'm awful at like discharging people. I'm like, my door's always open.
You're like, come back,
I'll
come
always
back.
be here unless one day I'm not, but
Yeah.
I'll always be here. So people, and it's like such a weird relationship because you're not a friend, but you like, I genuinely care for these people and I'm invested in them. I'm invested in their success in their people, and then to like one day just never talk to them again feels so
weird.
hard. And so a lot of people, especially like the young adults that I serve, will come back and they'll say, I just wanted to like update you on these life events
yeah.
because like
How
you
it
were
went
with
or-
it for me.
yeah.
Like maybe they got engaged or maybe they graduated college or maybe they had their second baby and had a
That's
great
so fun.
experience.
Yeah.
And I'm like, of course you wanted to come back.
Yeah.
Like, of course you did. And
That's
thank you.
so fun.
Like, thank you. I want to be included. I want to
Yeah.
hear these things. Like, I'm always
Do
rooting
they
for
send
you.
you mail? Do you get like birth
No,
announcements?
I don't get mail. Well, no, I will usually, if I'm seeing a pregnant client, they'll usually like send me a picture.
yeah.
Which I love. The best part of being a perinatal mental health therapist is the babies.
Oh my gosh,
So
so
babies are
fun.
welcome. I always say until they're about 1 because my office is not super kid friendly.
Do you have a sitter on site or what?
No, that's a liability.
See, I'd be like,
But
They're
I get
crying.
to
I
hold
can't,
the
it's so
babies,
distracted.
and oh my gosh, I'm always like, can I hold her and him? And so that's the best part.
Fun.
I love the babies.
but you are full right now, right? I saw on your
yes,
website multiple
yes.
places.
I'm
We're
full,
not
and I'm
taking you.
trying to go down to 3 days a week.
Yeah.
So I'll open up my books again in like August, September for new patients. These are where I'm bad with my boundaries because I'll always say like, but I will
Unless
do a
there's an
favor.
emergency.
I will
Unless
do
there's
it.
an
Like,
crisis.
I have a couple of medical social workers who will be like, are you taking favors? And I'm like, no, yes,
Yes,
okay.
I will. Can they
But-
come at 5 a.m.?
no. Oh my gosh, that's the other thing. So I am very strict on my hours. That's one of
Yeah.
the best parts about being
You get to take your kids to school.
self-employed. But yes, like I created this business so that I could be available to them. And so what sucks is, so my workday ends at 4, and that means I miss out on a huge population of teachers. And one population that I'm really passionate about and would love to support is teachers. Did I say teachers? I meant people. But anyways,
You
it's
just said
teachers.
teachers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of teachers need after 4, after 5 because of their work schedule.
Right.
And it sucks because I just can't
Yeah.
make that work in my current season of life. But we
But
have
maybe
a ton
the
of,
next season of life.
and we have a ton of great therapists in town that
Yeah.
can do nights and things like that.
So do you guys refer each other if you don't?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
To your
So-
sister, I'm guessing.
Sometimes, yeah, she has kids too.
Yeah.
So she doesn't work a lot of late
Same. Mm-hmm.
nights, but her kids are older now, so they
Yeah.
have like their own lives.
Babysitting your kids, huh?
They are,
Yeah, I
yeah. They're
remember you said
17
that.
and 18, and they babysit. And actually, my daughter just told me this weekend, you need to go on a date with daddy so Tatum can come babysit.
Oh, and you're like, okay.
And I was like,
deal.
You're right. Tell your daddy we need a date. But what about you as far as your like work hours? What is
so my kids go to Mom's Day Out, which is like 9:15 to 2:45. So I do that twice a week. And then my husband's off Thursday afternoons. So then I work Thursday afternoons. And then just randomly wherever. Lifetime, I'll work in the cafe when I'm there.
And so then are you from Omaha originally?
Yes.
Okay. So do you have family that helps out? Or?
Yes. Yep. So my husband's parents live here. My dad lives here. Sisters live here. My mom passed away when I was 10.
Okay.
Now we can get into that. I'm just kidding.
No, my mom's also dead. So.
She's so dead.
R.I.P.
Literally.
I know. When you're a griever, you also have a dark sense of humor.
I know. That's why I'm like,
yeah.
My mom died when I was 10. It's fine.
That's very young.
Oh, I want the last muffin. My mom died. Like on Friends. But yeah, so we do.
Okay. So
we don't have anything regular, but like they help out.
Did your dad ever get remarried?
No.
Wow.
He dates and stuff.
I might have a lady for him. What's he into?
His pool. He got a pool.
I'm also into that.
Okay.
My mother-in-law's single.
Okay. So it's funny because we met officially at the Herd at One, not Christmas, just
party,
employee company party.
Yeah.
And we, before that though, had DM'd all the time. And I just thought, oh, we're on the same Herd at One network. She's so sweet, you know, whatever. And then you were like, yeah, I know your sister Sarah. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is all coming full circle.
Isn't it so funny?
Yeah.
So your sister Sarah's husband is from Columbus, Nebraska. And my husband, Drew, is from Columbus. And I don't know if they ran around together or what. They might be on like a golf league, maybe. I think.
Or with his brother or Jordan. I can't remember.
I get them confused. There's so many Columbus people also.
Yeah.
But I used to always run into your sister Sarah at like birthday parties and like Husker parties because a lot of our mom friends are also friends. And I would always love chatting with her. And it was funny because one time I had said to my husband, like, is my one friend going to be there that I like? And he's like, which one? I couldn't remember her name. He's like, which? I'm like, you know, the blonde one with the two cute little girls that is always dressed so cute.
Yeah.
He's like, Sarah.
Yeah.
So it was funny when I realized that was your big sis.
I know. It's so funny. She just had a housewarming party this weekend.
Oh, how fun.
It was wild.
Her girls are so cute. So do the cousins play well together?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I just watched them the other day. I'm always like, bring them over. We need to hang out more because I just like get bored hanging out by myself. You know, I'm like, let's go do something. But
and especially for, I think it's important for moms that don't have a traditional work schedule to find connection, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people maybe they're not stay-at-home moms, but they don't work a traditional 9 to 5. And so I think it's good to like find, especially as the weather's getting nicer, like park play dates and pool days and splash pads. Like we don't have to do it alone because we need adult interaction.
For sure. It's hard to find someone on the same schedule as you
It
too.
is.
But like once you find, I feel like I have a group of 3 moms and we're like that. And I'm like, thank God. It's like, what are we doing today?
Yes.
When we don't have school.
Yes.
So
I have
important.
a few teacher friends and they're like booking their summers and sending me all these things. And my husband's like, they do realize you work, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking to decrease my work. So don't worry.
Isn't it funny though? I do feel like when you own your own business or work, your schedule is flexible, people